Okay, let's just dive right in. Navigating today's digital financial ecosystem, well, honestly, it can feel a lot like trying to survive in a completely unpredictable, wild jungle. So, in today's explainer, we're going to unpack the actual mechanics behind modern financial scams, and we're going to use a pretty fascinating jungle survival guide to do it. We're essentially translating all those complex digital finance traps into a language that just makes perfect sense: monkeys, leaves, and bananas. And that brings us to a really crucial question. Are your bananas truly safe in the modern financial jungle? Now, I know it sounds a little playful, but if you substitute the word bananas for your hard-earned digital assets or investments, well, the tone gets serious really fast. Because assuming your wealth is just inherently safe without actually understanding the environment, that is literally the easiest way to lose it all.
All right, Section 1. Welcome to the jungle and the promise of unlimited bananas.
Moving right along to Section 2, Anatomy of a Rug Pull, and how the trap snaps shut. So what actually is a rug pull? At its core, it's basically a beautifully orchestrated illusion. A group of monkeys, which in the real world are anonymous developers, they go out and create this massive amount of noise around a brand new currency. I mean, they are pumping up the hype, drawing everyone's attention, and more importantly, everyone's capital. Then, right at the absolute peak, snap. They abruptly sell off their developer wallets, drain the underlying liquidity pool, and just abandon the project entirely. It usually goes down in 3 pretty devastating steps. Step 1, you've got the hype machine. Step 2 relies almost entirely on FOMO, the fear of missing out, which is where unsuspecting apes actually part with their hard-earned bananas. And finally, step 3, the sudden, silent exit. The promoters liquidate everything and just vanish into the trees. The aftermath of this, it is agonizing. As our source material perfectly puts it, the victims are left holding worthless bananas. The digital tokens sitting right there in their wallets might look exactly the same, but the underlying value, completely and utterly hollowed out. Zero. That is the devastating reality here. Look, when we talk about normal stock market fluctuations, we're talking about percentages dipping, right? But a rug pull, it is an abrupt, mathematically absolute plunge straight to zero. All that hype you bought into just evaporated instantly. Which brings us to Section 3, spotting fake bananas and the other dangers lurking in the canopy. So beyond the rug pulls, we also have the illusion of the fake banana. We're talking about counterfeit digital assets here. Often these are spoofed smart contracts that actually mimic a legitimate project's ticker symbol perfectly. And they are specifically engineered for one reason: to trick you into trading your real, actual liquidity for total fool's gold. And hey, we can't forget that the old school predators are absolutely still hunting in this new ecosystem. Traditional credit card fraud is constantly used as a backdoor to extract wealth from people who are just trying to set up their wallets or buy their initial crypto on central exchanges. So yeah, the threats out here are incredibly layered. All right, let's look at Section 4, the monkey bank advantage and the sanctuary of leaves. There is a really stark contrast to point out between the wild west of crypto and traditional regulated safety. Out on the blockchain, you've got high risk, rug pulls everywhere, and zero safety nets. Monkey banks, on the other hand, they're structurally designed from the ground up to protect your assets, your leaves, from these exact types of scams. Just look at how this breaks down. It really all comes down to the environment and how your assets are protected. Chasing unregulated bananas out in a wild jungle obviously leaves you completely exposed to rug pulls. But holding protected leaves in a safe sanctuary, that means actual institutional mitigations are in place for things like credit card fraud. The risk is being actively managed on your behalf rather than you fending for yourself. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, your jungle survival guide, where we weigh your risks. Look, if you take absolutely nothing else away from this survival manual, let it be this: always, always question the hype. If a bunch of monkeys are screaming about a guaranteed return, just pause. Understand the mechanics of a rug pull so you don't end up holding those worthless bananas. You've got to stay hyper-vigilant against spoofed assets. And just remember that monkey banks exist for a reason: to offer a real sanctuary when the canopy gets way too volatile. Ultimately, the choice comes down to your own personal risk tolerance. Are you going to chase the unlimited, completely unregulated potential of the canopy, accepting all the predators that are lurking in those branches? Or are you going to trust the structural sanctuary of the monkey bank to protect your leaves? The jungle is incredibly vast. How you navigate it, well, That's entirely up to you.